I'm going searching for a $250,000 treasure in a place that I've never been to. I'm packing up, leaving Georgia, and heading deep into the heart of Appalachia, chasing a treasure that could be hidden along the Appalachian Trail. Sound crazy? Maybe, but here's the plan. On this journey, I'll reveal everything, what this hunt is all about, my personal solution to the mystery, and whether or not I actually find the treasure. But here's the twist. I've already made a bold decision. If I find that box, I'm keeping it under wraps. No one, not even the author, will know until this video drops. If I manage to find the Appalachian footpath box, this will be the first place you'll hear about it. I should probably get some pants.
So what's waiting at the end of this adventure? A fortune? A dead end? Or something I never expected?
Let's find out.
But here's the thing, I'm not doing this alone because let's face it, that would be irresponsible and unnecessarily dangerous. Instead, my dad and I are hitting the road for a grueling 17-hour drive to the location where I believe the Appalachian footpath treasure is hidden. Why drive? Simple. I need to have complete control over what I bring with me, as well as what I might bring back. Flying isn't an option when you're on a mission like this. But this isn't just a road trip. We'll be battling severe fatigue, facing a freezing 2-mile hike in an unfamiliar environment while racing against the clock. If anything goes wrong, this could all fall apart before we even get a chance to search. Here's the thing, I'm not a big-time YouTuber. I can't afford to make these trips every other month. This is a rare shot, and honestly, I'd be lucky to get to go again next year, but with a little bit of luck, a lot of determination, and the courage to chase this dream, I might just change my life as well as my family's lives forever. By now, you're probably one of two people. Either you know exactly what this hunt is, or you're sitting there wondering, what on earth is he talking about? Well, don't worry, I got you covered. This whole journey revolves around a man named John Collins Black. He's written a book, but not just any book, one with a twist. Inside, he's embedded clues leading to 5 hidden treasure boxes. The most legendary of them all is called the Lion's Share Box, a prize so valuable, it's in a league of its own.
I'm John Collins Black, and I hid millions of dollars worth of treasure in 5 chests across the country.
But here's the catch. Finding the Lion's Share Box isn't as simple as solving puzzles in the book. Each of the smaller boxes, like the Appalachian footpath box, the one I'm chasing, contains a unique clue, clues you can't find anywhere else. So why does this matter? Because finding the Appalachian footpath box is more than just a treasure hunt. It's a stepping stone. Every box found brings the hunter one step closer to uncovering the ultimate prize, the Lion's Share.
Since we've got a long journey ahead of us, let's take a moment to dive into what these smaller boxes are all about and what's supposedly inside of them. Each one is a unique steel puzzle box with its own treasure and story, so let's start with the first.
First, we have the Forest Fin box. This one's said to contain items tied to the famous Forest Fin treasure hunt from years ago. Most believe it's hidden somewhere in the Rocky Mountains, and honestly, I'd agree. But let's be real. Narrowing a search down from an entire continent to just one mountain range, that's still a massive area to search. As exciting as it sounds, it didn't feel like the best first attempt at striking it rich, so I passed on this one. Next up, we have the Pokemon box. Now this one's a collector's dream. It's rumored to hold a rare Charizard card and is housed in an intricately designed steel puzzle box, all crafted by Seth Gold. But that's not all. It also contains a Bowenite frog carved by Faberge artisans around the year 1900. Just imagine holding a piece of history and pop culture all in one box. Then there's the Past and Future box. This one might be one of the toughest ones to open, at least based on its design. It looks the same on all sides. And inside, a fully loaded Bitcoin. You see, John designed these boxes to hold treasures he believed would increase in value over time, and this box is no exception. Who knows how much that Bitcoin could be worth in 10 to 20 years from now. Every box also includes a commemorative coin, each with a unique design that reflects the theme of the box it's in. And just like the boxes, these coins were crafted by Seth Gold, adding another layer of artistry to the hunt. And now we come to the final box, the one we're chasing, the Appalachian footpath box. This is the prize we're after, and I can't wait to see if everything I've worked toward leads me to it. On top of these items I've mentioned, there's much more. Each of these boxes are said to be valued comfortably in the six figures, as well as all of them being puzzle boxes designed by Seth Gold.
So let's talk about the Appalachian footpath box, the treasure I'm chasing right now. This box has a striking design, steel, gold, and blue, making it just as stunning as it sounds. But here's the kicker. The author never reveals what's inside. What we do know is that this box supposedly contains more items tied to the book's chapters than any of the others. To me, that makes it feel like the most valuable of the smaller boxes, not just for its contents, but what it could mean. Finding it might not only change my life financially, but also give me the resources to chase down the other smaller boxes, and maybe, just maybe, lead me one step closer to uncovering the lion's share someday. But for now, it's all about staying focused. No point in counting your eggs before they hatch, right? First, I need to find this box, and with any luck, that's exactly what I'll be doing soon. All right, Dad, do you have any words of wisdom for the future?
Just stay sharp and keep an eye out for anything out of place or out of the ordinary.
That sounds good.
So where do I believe this elusive Appalachian footpath box is hidden? At first, I was convinced it had to be in North Georgia or maybe even the Carolinas. After all, the author grew up in this region, and his description of blue mountains and bald hills sounds an awful lot like the Blue Mountains in Georgia and Brasstown Bald. Plus, he even hints at starting the hunt at Springer Mountain, Georgia, as he explains the Appalachian Trail. And don't forget, he described walking on the trail near his home in North Carolina, calling it a magical place to hide a treasure. All of this pointed to the southern end of the Appalachian Trail. But here's the problem. Wherever this treasure is, it has to match the map he gave us in the book. So I decided to get hands-on. I traced the map, first with paper, which didn't work for obvious reasons, then with a piece of plastic left over from my son's Christmas presents. I meticulously copied every detail: the cougar, the bear, the butterfly, the apples, even the compass. I wanted an exact match so I could search the trail end to end. Hours turned into days, and I still couldn't find a match. Frustrated, I decided to start fresh. I thought, at the heart of it all, the author wants us to find his treasure. He's given us the Appalachian Trail, but the key to narrowing it down has to be in the pictures. So I searched for ski lodges, butterfly patches, apple orchards, anything that might line up, but again, nothing. Desperate, I turned to treasure hunting forums. Now, if you've ever been on these, you know they're a mixed bag, half guesses, half people trying to throw you off the trail. But then, something caught my eye, a map. At first, I dismissed it because it didn't match the one in the book, but then I saw it again and again on different forums. Finally, I humbled myself and said, just look at it. And that's when it hit me. This map wasn't in my original search area, but when I zoomed in, everything started to fall into place. This was the trail. Suddenly, a terrifying thought crossed my mind. What if this box had already been found?
After a 16, 17-hour drive, we finally made it. It was a little creepy at first because it was really foggy and cloudy, but honestly, this is a pretty nice view.
Dozens, maybe even hundreds of people have searched this area, and as far as I know, no one's found the box. But here's the thing. It's not as simple as it seems. The map is layered with devious clues. The first layer is the Appalachian Trail. The second layer is made up of the icons, the cougar, the bear, the butterfly, and so on. They align with real-world locations. And when you follow these clues, they all lead to one place, the great state of Vermont. So how do these icons prove the treasure is in Vermont? That's the tricky part. Everyone's so eager to share this map that we've kind of sidestepped the first layer. Somehow, somewhere, these icons align with Vermont, but here's the kicker. Nobody knows exactly how. Everyone online claims to have cracked the code, that they're the one who's figured it all out. But until someone actually finds the treasure, let's be honest, we're all just a bunch of kooks wandering the woods. But here's what we do know. The steps are clear. First, we go from the Appalachian Trail to the state of Vermont, then to the Green Mountain Trail where the map matches. So we've narrowed it down from a massive region to a specific trail. That puts us, within 1,000 feet of this treasure? So why hasn't anyone found it yet? Because the map doesn't just give you the treasure. It's not that simple.
It's not that simple.
And you see, this is just like a real map, just like the one John Collins Black's son was drawing in the book that he spoke about. His son didn't invent a trail. The roads of New York were his trail. And that's exactly what this treasure map does. It doesn't point directly to the treasure. Instead, it narrows down your search to the final exact spot. And just like the cover of the book, and that tiny faint symbol at the end of the map, X marks the spot. Now, I know what all of you guys are about to start thinking. Josh, where did you get this amazing leather map and how do I get one too? Well, to answer it shortly, only one other person can have a map like this. And to get the opportunity to do so, all you have to do is comment down below, I love this channel and I really want this map. Everyone who does so within the first 2 weeks of this video being posted will be entered into a raffle to win a map just like this one, which was made by my dad. After all, John Collins Black does say that you need a really good map. And just like his map, this treasure map has an X that marks the spot.
But here's where it gets really interesting. It's not the obvious X that everyone talks about. No, the real clue is hidden, invisible to most, because no one has done what I accidentally did. And this is where it all changes. And it's exactly why I think I've cracked it.
Before I get into this next part, I have to give the biggest shout out and thank you to all of my patrons on Patreon. Lorena, Jeff, Belgrat, the Sorcerer, aka Mike, Gabriel, Don, and even the ones that have come and gone. Mookie and AP, you guys have all made a huge impact on my life and I can't express my thanks enough. A lot of people say that I couldn't have done this without you and so on, but I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. I've been working on this YouTube thing for about 5 years now, and you'll notice that my first video came out 4 years ago. And that's because for about a year before I started, I was terrified of looking and sounding like a moron. So I studied and I practiced editing and recording and speaking and all of this stuff. And eventually I came out with my first video and it was a lot of fun, but it was a difficult journey. After a few years of uploading, I hadn't monetized yet, and my wife was expecting our first baby boy, and I was terrified, but I persevered through it and had a video go viral, getting about 500 or 600,000 views, and I was monetized and it helped me pay off the rest of my debt. And things have slowly but surely gotten better ever since. So I've saved up all my AdSense money to be able to go out here and do this trip. And it's because of the love and support and sharing that you guys have all done that made this channel grow to where it is. And it's allowed me to be able to go out here and do this thing right now. So truly and seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. Every like, every comment, every share, everything means so much because it means I got to spread a little bit of joy back to you the way that you guys have to me. You all have given me the strength to believe in myself and this channel like never before, and I'm forever grateful to you all. And before I start to cry, let's go find some treasure.
This is it. After traveling all the way from Georgia to Vermont, we've made it. We've successfully navigated from one state to another, pieced together every clue, and now we're standing at the very start of the first trail that will lead us to the second. That second trail, that's where I believe this treasure is waiting. Every step has brought us closer, and now it's time to see if all the work, research, and miles were worth it. Luckily, John Collins Black gives us a reassuring piece of advice in his book. No treasure is more than 3 miles from a road and never in a dangerous place. That alone gives me hope that what I've worked so hard for might actually be within reach. Like I've said before, X marks the spot. Early on in this hunt, I took the time to trace every icon on the map, and not just the icons, but the compass itself. And that's when I noticed something strange. When the map is rotated and perfectly aligned to the Green Mountain Trail, everything clicks. Sure, the bottom edge of the map didn't line up perfectly, but it was close enough to confirm I was on the right path. But there was still one problem: the icons. At first, they didn't seem to mean anything, and then it hit me. They weren't meant to mark the treasure directly. They were meant to lead us to the state, and that state is, of course, Vermont. As I pieced everything together, one question haunted me. If this alignment was correct, had someone already found the treasure? I spent hours lurking on forums, blogs, and chats, and everyone who claimed to have gone out searching said the same thing. They came up empty-handed. Some even believe this isn't even the right trail. But here's where I think it is. That faint little X on the map, it's not the treasure. It's the clue that marks the end of your trail. Remember what John Collins Black wrote in his book. Sometimes you have to blaze your own trail. That means this hunt doesn't end at the end of the trail. It ends when you step off the beaten path, but not into danger. And here's the breakthrough. That faint X, it's telling us the elevation, 1,727 feet. And when you overlay the map onto the trail properly oriented, the compass itself becomes the final clue. The cardinal directions form an X, the real X that marks the spot. The treasure box rests somewhere near 1,727 feet in elevation, right where the compass lies.
Okay, so it's not as freezing cold as I thought it was going to be, but it's Vermont. You would expect that it was going to be cold when it says the low is at 44 degrees.
This journey has been a roller coaster of emotions. From the initial thrill of piecing together the map's clues to the frustration of dead ends and doubts about whether this treasure even exists. We've traveled hundreds of miles. I pored over every detail and faced countless moments where it felt like giving up was the only option. But through it all, the long hours on the road, the late nights on forums, and the endless rechecks of my theories, we've made it here. Every step has been leading to this moment. And now with the trail ahead and the final pieces falling into place, the question remains. Will this be the end of my hunt or the first chapter of a bigger story? I can't lie, this was a hard pill to swallow. Driving all this way, searching for hours in the middle of nowhere, and coming up empty-handed was crushing. After meticulously combing through the area, checking and rechecking possible locations, I started to wonder if I'd been chasing a mirage all along, falling victim to my own confirmation bias. The treasure just wasn't here. And while part of me wanted to believe I could uncover it on my very first attempt, the truth is, treasure hunting doesn't work like that. If I had found it on my first try, it would have felt more like a miracle than an accomplishment. But as disappointing as it was not to find the box, I can't deny that this has been one of the greatest experiences of my life. I got to go on a wild road trip with my dad, venture into the unknown, and live out the kind of adventure most people only dream of. That's something no treasure could ever replace. The truth is, this entire journey was never just about me. It was about trying to create a better life for my wife and son, about giving them everything they could ever need. I had hoped to come home triumphant, with something to change our lives forever. But in a way, this trip reminded me of what I already had. The real treasure isn't made of gold or rare artifacts. It's the family waiting for me back home. My wife, my son, they are my fortune and glory, and my reason for everything. And while I didn't find the Appalachian footbath box, I found something just as valuable. The realization that I'm already the luckiest man alive. This has been Joshua John of Adventure Explore Discover. And just remember, where mystery lies, adventure awaits.